YouTubers making videos in their bedrooms and seasoned UFC fighters throwing hands in the octagon are more alike than you think. For every philanthropic project MrBeast completes,
this is the first of 100 wells we're gonna build in this video. Oh, water!
There's Dustin Poirier, whose Good Fight Foundation is changing lives inside and outside the octagon.
But what transcends fighting is the people I touch and the people I help, and the smiles I put on people's faces, and that's something that I'm really fighting for.
But what if I told you that not all of these similarities are something admirable? Like Conor McGregor and Jake Paul, who both love to trash talk their opponents.
Nothing against Edward. Oh, whoa, careful. What you gonna do? Oh, whoa. You gonna do something over there? Be careful. Shoot your mouth. When I count to 3, I want this entire arena to scream, the Mayweathers. 1, 2, 3.
But are also willing to exploit the legacies of legends in their relentless pursuit of fame and money. And as you'll see later, some of these similarities go way deeper than just doing something similar. These are 5 YouTubers who resemble some of the most legendary UFC fighters of all time, starting with the duo that's known for their charity. MrBeast and Dustin Poirier might be 2 names from very different worlds, but their resilience and massive ambitions place them firmly in the same league. Today, both share a net worth in the millions and boast millions of followers. But their success stories are anything but instant. For MrBeast, the grind started back in 2012 with videos shot in a bedroom studio.
Guys, it's currently October 4th, 2015. Yes.
But it wasn't until 2018 when he gave a homeless man $10,000.
Well, I'm a YouTuber. I mean, you can see the camera. And so it's a series where I just, be nice and just give people some help. So if you want to take it, it's about $10,000. I'm not joking.
You're right.
Yeah. It's real. So
that his internet fame truly exploded. It took over a decade of hard work and persistence for MrBeast to rise to the top as YouTube's most watched creator.
So a lot of people think that I just came up in a rich household and I'm a trust fund baby. I get called that a lot. In reality, my mom was in the military. She was a single mom and she worked.
Dustin Poirier's story may have started in a different arena, but his rise was no easier. Starting from Gladiator Academy promotions and regional fight circuits, Poirier made his UFC debut in 2011, but his climb to the top was stricken with injuries and setbacks. It wasn't until 2019, 8 years into his UFC career, that Dustin Poirier claimed the interim lightweight title after defeating Max Holloway.
Decision and new interim UFC lightweight champion of the world, Dustin the Diamond Poirier. Man, this feels amazing. I feel like I'm in a dream right now. I just beat one of the pound-for-pound best in the world. To be the best, you gotta beat the best.
MrBeast and Poirier weren't born with a silver spoon, and yet they used their fame and wealth to give back. From paying for eye surgeries of 1,000 blind people and building wells in Africa, to his massive Save the Planet campaigns like Team Trees and Team Seas. Not to mention his philanthropy channel that has fed over 5 million people since 2020. Meanwhile, Dustin created the Good Fight Foundation, which builds schools, provides clean water, and supports underserved communities. What's most incredible is that he started this organization by auctioning off his fight-worn memorabilia from every match and using that money to help others.
Started a few years ago. I started auctioning off my fight-worn memorabilia to help local causes in the community around Lafayette, Louisiana.
Like serving food to hundreds of families every week through FoodNet. And like MrBeast, Dustin's charity works extend beyond the borders as well. Dustin partnered with Manny Pacquiao's foundation to initiate one of his biggest charity works in East Africa. They built underground water wells, purchased acres of land, and built homes for more than 3,000 people of the Batwa Pygmy tribe, one of the severely marginalized groups in Uganda. However, while MrBeast and Poirier had hard work and ambition on their side, there are some who thrive on arrogance and controversy. And if there's one person who knows how to stay in the spotlight on YouTube, it's Jake Paul, especially after his controversial win over 58-year-old Mike Tyson in boxing.
Declaring your winner by unanimous decision, Jake Paul!
But he hasn't always been known for fighting, not at least in the ring. Jake appeared onto the spotlight through his viral pranks on Vine and quickly became a hit for his over-the-top pranks.
Former Disney Channel star Jake Paul, who's been making life miserable for neighbors by filming dangerous stunts on his property, is in hot water again.
A short-lived acting career on Disney and a mess of controversies.
I never was like social media is the new wave. I was the wave. Driving a bit, right?
Yeah. I think that'd be a good.
Conor McGregor, on the other hand, is the definition of MMA royalty. The first UFC fighter to hold titles in 2 weight classes simultaneously, Conor's lightning-fast 13-second knockout of Jose Aldo in 2015 became the fastest UFC title victory in history.
Southpaw, the notorious Conor McGregor. Black trunks for the champion, Jose Aldo Jr.
Conor relaxed and smiling. Oh!
Just slapped him! Conor McGregor is the new UFC featherweight champion of the world!
He followed it up by beating Eddie Alvarez to become the UFC lightweight champion.
McGregor well in control. Alvarez getting loose, getting better here in this round, though.
Oh, man.
Until then,
He's done. He's done.
history has been made! Conor McGregor!
Turning him into the biggest star in UFC history. Fast forward to 2024, Jake Paul called out 58-year-old Mike Tyson in what was clearly a cash grab.
He's got a buddy right here.
And not only do I have the honor of fighting one of the 2 most famous boxers to ever live, it's also happening live on Netflix. Look out, this push.
Jake hyped it up by calling it the biggest sporting event of the century. His fighting gear alone cost a mind-boggling $1 million, and it paid off big time. Jake reportedly walked away with $40 million while Tyson pocketed $20 million. But this was just the start. To make things even more interesting, Jake has called out to Conor McGregor for an MMA fight multiple times, which, if it ever takes place, would be the next blockbuster in sports. That being said, Jake Paul wasn't the first to dive in influencer boxing. That honor goes to KSI, who also loves UFC, and apparently Israel Adesanya.
Favorite UFC fighter?
I think for me it'd have to be Adesanya. I'm a big fan of Adesanya. Obviously he's fighting, but also...
And why wouldn't he? The two are practically the same person. But not in the way you're thinking. Yes, they're both fighters, entertainers, and big anime fans, but the similarities between the two go a lot deeper than that. KSI, for those who don't know, is one of the biggest YouTubers from the UK, boasting over 41 million subscribers across his 2 main channels. Over the years, he's tried to diversify his portfolio by donning the role of a musician and building a boxing career.
He can throw a lot of punches. Tommy needs to wait for that. Jake Paul tried to beat him at boxing. Big right hand for KSI. That was a straight right hand.
Adesanya, on the other hand, is a UFC pro with a flair for theatrics, like the time he paid homage to WWE legend The Undertaker with his walkout at UFC 276, complete with the iconic hat and turn.
Look at this guy, The Undertaker. Oh my God, the dead man has arrived.
He's also not afraid to showcase his love for anime and manga in general, like getting anime-based tattoos, and it's his unique style of incorporating pop culture into his UFC persona that has earned him a fairly fitting nickname, the Last Style Bender. But therein lies the first big similarity between the two. Both have extremely polarizing personalities, and they're completely unapologetic about it. Take Adesanya and all of his antics, for example, whether it's breaking it down in public, doing anime poses during face-offs, or doing a choreographed dance before walking to the octagon. People either love him and make TikTok edits of him with popular anime series,
Put your head on my...
or think of him as the most cringe man in UFC history with comments like, "Y'all trying to hype him up when we all know he is bust cringe-ass fighter," or "puts the fans to sleep so he can go J.O. to cartoons, yeah, one of a kind." Sometimes, however, even his biggest fans are unable to defend his actions.
And this time when I put you on skates, I'm gonna leave you frozen like Elsa. But like I said at the press conference, next time I put you on skates, you're gonna get left frozen like Elsa.
One of the most awful, least intimidating phrases ever uttered in a UFC press conference, and he tried it again? Bruh, this guy watching Frozen and shit. Adesanya, however, is quite proud of himself.
If you know, you know. It's like I play to my crowd. I won't toot my own horn, but I'd say I was partially responsible for anime being kind of mainstream in the sports. I just expressed myself the way I wanted to, and then people follow suit.
Now, if we flip the script to KSI, he's in a similar position to Adesanya. Not for anime specifically, but his hotshot attitude. KSI acts like the big dog in whatever industry he enters. YouTube, music, boxing. And just like Adesanya, some fans love him to no end. Like this commenter under his Lamborghini music video, which reads, "7 years since this absolute banger came out. I swear it feels like yesterday." Yet many other viewers can't stand anything he puts out. Just look at the absurd number of dislikes his latest song received since its release. All the while, KSI kept hyping it up as the greatest song ever created, and he wasn't joking, hearkening back to the unapologetic personality he shares with Adesanya. Of course, sometimes they both take things too far, like Adesanya abusing the N-word just to get back at Dreykus for calling himself more African.
Let's go. What's up, bitch? Let's go. Yeah, what's up?
Get this shit
What the fuck
up.
you gonna do? Yeah, my African brother. Yeah, my African brother. What's up?
I'm African, but I ain't no brother of yours, son.
Let's go. You my for real. I'll show you.
So what are you saying to everybody?
Or KSI continuing to harass Dan TDM for weeks for criticizing Lunchley. Though if we're going to talk about taking things too far, there's no comparison more fitting than Logan Paul and Jorge Masvidal. Logan Paul is one of, if not the most controversial figures on YouTube. And sadly, the same can also be said about Jorge Masvidal in UFC. But before we get to that, we have to give credit where credit's due. Both Logan and Jorge are popular for a reason. Logan is dedicated enough to tear his knee just to provide a spectacle worth watching in WWE.
Ball's going up to the top rope. You're going viral, Roman.
Logan Paul is something special.
You see that black thing? Yeah. That's your medial collateral ligament, the MCL. That's where you tore it. You have a significant tear of the MCL. You have what we call a grade 3, which is almost a complete tear of that MCL.
While Jorge was once the most promising up-and-comer when he shattered the record for the fastest KO in UFC history by delivering a flying knee to Ben Askren just 5 seconds after the match started.
The fight clock is brought to you by Modelo.
Unfortunately, both of their careers are also riddled with controversy after controversy, like the time Logan filmed the body of a person who game-ended themselves in Japan.
Hey, I really hate to say this. I think there's someone hanging right there.
And while that was extremely disrespectful, at least it didn't harm any living people. That is, until Logan created his very own crypto scam called Crypto Zoo and looted millions of dollars from his own fans.
How much did you guys make from Crypto Zoo?
I lost around $50,000 in Crypto Zoo.
I lost $40,000.
I lost around $15,000 US dollars.
I lost $25,000.
$120,000. $500,000 Australian, which is $500,000 in Crypto Zoo.
This resulted in many of them losing their life savings and even ending up in crippling debt. And when CoffeeZilla called him out on it, Logan opted to insult him and threaten a lawsuit instead of owning up to his scam.
He is a lopsided journalist with an agenda, and he's nothing more than the Keemstar of crypto and finance. And you still published a defamatory hit piece, fully knowing I was innocent, just so you could enrich yourself in your $10 million studio. Sharp, but deeply unethical, dangerously misleading, and illegal. I suggest you use the money you got from pumping your Patreon to hire a good lawyer. You're gonna need it.
Logan's ego did not allow him to admit defeat, which is exactly what happened with Jorge after UFC 272. In March of 2022, Jorge lost a match to Colby Covington by decision.
For the winner, by unanimous decision, Colby Chaos Covington.
But instead of accepting his defeat and working hard for the next time, Jorge got angry. His ego took over, and he assaulted Colby out in the street. Leaving his face bruised in the process, Colby also pressed charges against Jorge, resulting in him pleading guilty and receiving the label of a criminal. More importantly, he also lost any respect fans had left for him. He had great potential in the beginning and was hyped to no end. But his skills were starting to diminish over the years, and assaulting his opponent after losing was the final nail in the coffin. If things went a little differently, he could have left a positive legacy for his fans like PewDiePie and his UFC counterpart Stephen Thompson. In a world where YouTubers and UFC fighters often find themselves entangled in scandals, it's easy to think the words YouTube and controversy go hand in hand. But every once in a while, there are exceptions. People who rise above the noise with their authenticity and genuinely wholesome nature, namely Felix Kjellberg, aka PewDiePie, and Stephen Thompson. One's a YouTube royalty and the other is one of the cleanest strikers in UFC history.
Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, set to make his UFC debut here tonight in Vegas.
Both have managed to capture hearts worldwide with their wholesome persona. PewDiePie has been dominating YouTube long before many of today's stars even dreamed of stepping onto the platform. Starting with Let's Play gaming videos in 2010,
and yeah, today we're gonna celebrate because I got 100 subscribers. Oh my lord, 100 subscribers.
His humorous commentary and down-to-earth personality quickly won fans over.
I don't really care for numbers that much. What I care more about is the support for that I get from all you guys. That means so much more than just a random number, but I just thought I'd drop by, say hello, and really say thank you. It means a lot to me. I love...
And by 2013, he had already passed 10 million subscribers. He's since retired in Japan with his wife and kid and is leading the controversy-free life that many in his audience dream of.
Beautiful ceremony. Wonderful. Ken and Mary were already married, but this is a renewal of their vows. Now the party begins.
But while PewDiePie was making his mark on YouTube, another story was unfolding in the world of combat sports. Stephen Thompson, better known as Wonderboy, was smashing records in kickboxing with an undefeated 62-0 streak before ever setting foot in the UFC.
Punch out, punch out, punch out. Let's go, keep going. You see when their hands start to drop like that, you know, it's...
The Karate Kid had already claimed 15 titles before he ever made his UFC debut, and when he landed in the octagon, it flared up.
Well, he will work his way up to the higher level of talent.
A very exciting entry into the UFC.
Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
But fans praise him for more than his elite striking and spinning flying kicks. It's his attitude. Stephen Thompson is regarded as one of the most wholesome fighters in the sport today. Fans call him a national treasure in MMA for a reason. And it's not just fans saying it. Wonderboy's wholesome antics are praised far and wide. During his fight with Kevin Holland, Thompson thrashed him left and right, but kept saying sorry after landing every significant hit. Who does that? And that's just one of his many wholesome moments. And fans feel the same for PewDiePie. Despite all the fame and fortune, PewDiePie remains grounded. Whether it's him playing video games, introducing his pet dog, or spending time with his family, he's built a reputation for being humble and relatable. Not just that, he's also done a ton of good through his platform as well. In 2018, he raised over $240,000 for the Child Rights and You organization through a live charity stream. And despite him dominating the internet for so long, experts say PewDiePie's fandom isn't going anywhere anytime soon. The rule is to stay adaptable, which is not exclusive to content creation. It is just as relevant to survive in the octagon ring. And that's what's been keeping our Stephen Wonderboy up and fighting even after 2 decades in the sport, acknowledging the mistakes and improving on them.
Now, this is where I wear myself out. I learned from this. I thought I had him. The referee was like, all right, Stephen, you got to protect yourself, And I was like, I'm going to stop it, Jeremy Jones, but he never stopped it. So I burnt myself out in the first round. It's terrible. Golly. It is terrible, my takedown defense. So yeah, I learned a lot from this fight.
At 40 years, he is still one of the most technically sound fighters in the sport. On top of that, Stephen Wonderboy now has a YouTube channel where he teaches MMA techniques and occasionally reacts to his old kickboxing fights. Whether it's the octagon or the internet, PewDiePie and Wonderboy show that you don't need to stir up drama to make an impact. In the end, it's not just fame or fortune that connects a YouTuber to a UFC fighter. It's how they present themselves to their fans and the world at large.